with the new real estate. What is the name of our podcast? It's been a while.
Roadmap.
The new real estate roadmap. And what we do here is we talk about what it's really like as a full-time real estate agent, and we do
Mhm.
things a little differently than what I guess you want to say, the gurus teach. We don't do cold calling, door knocking, any of that stuff, and we share some of tips and tricks and just day-to-day struggles and a lot of shenanigans with you guys. Is that correct, Jennifer?
That is correct. That's super correct. Actually, I was going to tell you something the other day, and I just got sidetracked. I was at a listing appointment this weekend. I'm just missing one signature, so no worries. We got a new listing, Chris. Ah.
Woohoo! Good job.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the statements that the seller made was, he's like, "You guys know your shit." He literally, quote unquote, "You guys know your shit." He's like, "I see all your stuff. I've never called ever about real estate. If I called and spoke to them, always very personal stuff in terms of like, hey, how's it going? Da, 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 how's the dog? But never any business like phone calls, but just what we put out there.
Yep.
They see it, and again, his words were, "You guys know your shit."
Yeah, well, it's the trust thing. People hire, I always say people hire who they admire, but really that means people hire who they trust.
Mm-hmm.
People don't trust salespeople. They
Yeah.
just don't. They see right through it. It's all sleazy sales tactics. People are aware of it. It's the reason why you don't make eye contact with the people standing outside of your grocery stores collecting money for like various events. It's like because you know what's coming, and you just want to go get your freaking dinner
Groceries,
rolls. Yeah.
unless it's like a little, like a baseball league team, or of course, I'm a sucker for those, the cookies, the Girl Scout cookies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, no.
Hmm.
So we do. We The problem is that I give too much, and I
Hmm.
want to give it to, hey, Ginger,
Hey,
and
Ginger.
we have
Hi,
a
good morning.
guest.
Good
Hey,
Morning.
what's up?
morning.
I'm gonna finish a quick story. We'll dive in if you don't mind. So I'm a sucker for that, Jen. So, and Ginger, I'm talking about the people who collect money outside of grocery stores for various things. So
Hmm.
when I go in there, when I see them, and I'm like, I already know I'm gonna be walking out with $20 less than I expected, because then I'll get money, and then I want to get all the kids' money in that line.
Hmm.
And it's just because I know how hard it is to sell, even if you're asking for money for your leagues. So, but we do have a guest today, by the way. Her name is Ginger Faith. Hi, Ginger.
Good morning, or
Good.
wherever you are. Hello.
Yes. Good morning,
Yeah.
wherever. Where are you, Ginger?
Yeah,
Tell
where are you?
us.
I am in Northern California, and yeah, and I was actually going to on my way to LA tomorrow morning for a
Mm.
conference.
I asked
And
Chris. I asked Chris. I'm like, "Do you know if Ginger's in California or not? Because those fires are
my
insane."
girlfriend is in Altadena. I was supposed to be staying with her,
Oh.
and she's been evacuated. She showed me a picture of her backyard. I was like, what? So praying for the people in LA, and I don't know if the conference is going to go on, but
Yeah.
yeah, praying. Thank God nobody's been hurt, so that's good.
Yeah, I
So
haven't seen any
Well,
reportings. Definitely some acreage burns. I think I saw
hmm
200 acres burned this morning, as of this morning so far,
yeah,
but
yeah,
no casualties, thank the
I
yeah.
Lord.
am totally out of it. I don't watch any news or anything. I didn't even know this was a thing until Jen told me. So that's crazy. So it's pretty wild out there, huh?
Yeah, I normally don't watch the news either, but because I was going, why is it tell? Okay, because I was going there tomorrow. Why is this cute? Excuse me, but remind me
You're getting
tomorrow.
tech
So I
issues.
keep getting these notices from Microsoft to restart the computer over and over again. Hello, remind me tomorrow.
There you go.
Okay, I keep
You
doing
gotta.
remind me tomorrow, and it's tell. Give me a second. It's not working. Pick a time
It's like
tomorrow.
toddlers. You can't
Hmm.
argue with them.
Right,
They'll say no, and they'll just keep on flashing up a warning in your
right.
face.
Okay. Hopefully it'll go away now. I told it tomorrow at 1:24 p.m.
That works for me.
Well, now you have to make sure the computer's up and open at 124.
I know. Or he's gonna get you in the next one.
Oh
Yeah.
So
goodness.
Ginger was actually going to be here. Well, let me give a little quick bio on Ginger, and then we'll dive into it. So she is a house flipper. You flipped over 52 properties. You are also a real estate broker, a landlady, as you put it, not a landlord, a landlady, right?
Mhm.
And you've been all over the spectrum. You've been on Fox, CBS, NBC, Yahoo Finance, just sharing your knowledge. So if you're interested in real estate investing and flipping of properties, this is the show for you. She's gonna give you some tips and tricks.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep. Whose dog is that? Is that yours, Ginger?
Yes,
What kind of dog is it?
that is Chanel.
Oh, it sounds like
I
a
can
Chanel.
tuck her away. She's a little diva, but
Oh, that's right. I have my golden retriever right behind me sleeping. So
he's
he might bark
chill,
at any
or he or
moment.
she's chill.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't even move. He's like a rug.
Mhm. We all have dogs. It's a normal day life, little barking in the background. Well, tell Chanel we said hello.
Oh, hello, Chanel. Yes.
So Ginger, we almost had you on a month and a half ago, but something happened about
Right.
flipping a house. What happened?
Oh, well, I got diagnosed with heavy metal toxicity.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so it was really wild. So I thought I was coming down with a cold, but then the symptoms were weird. They were just different than I had expected before. I had some lockjaw, heart palpitations. I had a cold that wouldn't quit. I thought it was a cold, congestion, exhaustion. But there was something in me. I guess it was my intuition said something is not right. This isn't a normal whatever it is, you know. Knew it wasn't COVID. I didn't get tested, but I just knew I've had COVID a few times, so I didn't know it wasn't that. So I got tested, and my naturopath, who does muscle testing, does kinesiology. He for the first time ever, and I've had kinesiology done 100 times with him over the years. For the first time, he said, "Look at this, heavy metal toxicity." Now he couldn't figure out which one it was. There was a list of a bunch of different metals, but that made sense to me because it was so weird. And because of the circumstances, I was in the middle of a big project, and I was like micromanaging the guys to try to get it finished and cleaning up and all that. So, yeah, so that was kind of a drama. It was right before Thanksgiving. So I felt very, very blessed, honestly, because a friend of mine, I told him about it. He has a ton of family that are doctors. That he sent me an article from the Cleveland Clinic. One of my Airbnbs is in Cleveland Heights, specifically because I wanted to be near the Cleveland Clinic because it's so renowned. I wanted to make that an opportunity for midterm for nurses, you know, and have that flexibility. So I love Cleveland Clinic, and it explained what to do about heavy metal toxicity. And the only known remedy for that is called chelation therapy. Coincidentally, my girlfriend's been telling me to go down to a Mexican clinic for a decade.
Okay.
And basically, she's like, you know what, Ginger, there's toxins in the air. We're breathing them. We're eating them. They're coming through our skin. We should go once in a while just for a wellness week.
Like a cleanse. A full
Mhm.
cleanse.
And she was telling me about it, and like unbelievable stories, really great stories of people, like some people in near death's door, and they're like they're fine with this. It's really quite amazing what it does. But basically, it binds up heavy metals so your body can evacuate them.
Amazing.
And it also has the thing called Plaque X, which is very little known, and it takes out plaque from your arteries so your body can get rid of it. That's a different treatment.
You do this in Mexico?
I did this in Mexico. They do have it in America. But what happened was I was diagnosed by my naturopath on Thursday. On Friday, I researched it with the Cleveland Clinic. And then Friday at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. And I was sleeping at my girlfriend's because this remodel was here. And so I by Sunday I was on a plane to Mexico.
I need it now.
Yeah. When that happened, so I had it was a really crazy situation. But one of the later on, while I was in the Cleveland, when I was in the Mexican clinic, I got a blood test. And they can't test for everything, but strangely, one of the things that came up as a component was aluminum.
Oh,
And you're supposed to have, they only tested for 7, and there's like 25, known metal toxicities. You're supposed to be between 0 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
After 1 day of chelation, my blood read that I had 80
wow.
in aluminum.
Oh
So my
goodness.
naturopath, when I texted him about that, when I told him later, I texted him when I found the numbers. He said, "Oh, did you set off the metal detector at the airport when you're on your way?"
That's actually a good. That's actually not a silly question. That was right?
Your levels are so high. I feel like
I
it should,
know,
it could
right?
have. Would you say that was your most memorable experience through your 52 flip properties?
Oh
Or
yeah,
there wilder stories?
yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
wild.
for sure. Yeah. So but I felt very blessed because my friend sent me that article, and then immediately it tripped in my brain. Wait a minute, I know this clinic in Mexico. I've been telling my girlfriend, yeah, I'll go. It's a great idea. I got to do that. And it's been like years, And but the kind of thing of like, okay, take a flight over to San Diego, drive over there. It was a border town. And it was specifically, this particular clinic was created 43 years ago, specifically because Mexico is more lenient. Now, chelation therapy is more popular in America, more than it was, but it's still not as well known,
Yeah.
So, but they wanted to, have that leniency. I literally could see the border wall from my room in my hotel.
Wow. Again,
So-
wild.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. But when I got back, it was quite trying because I was there for Thanksgiving, but like
Yeah.
it is what it is. I did exactly what I needed to do,
Yeah.
right?
It's better
So
than being sick.
yeah. So I got back and I went back to the same naturopath, and he tested me again. He looked at me and he said, "You don't have any." He didn't know. I never told him. I told him after, but he looked at me and he said, "You don't have any toxicity anymore." I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "Let me check you," and he did the muscle testing, and I was clear. And then I started feeling better. It took a little while, to kind of restabilize, but I'm feeling really great now, and I'm very blessed. And I just knowing that, knowing what to do, that was, I think, so powerful for me. I'm always, encouraging everybody, educate yourself, talk to people, get out there, figure out what's out there in the world, right? Learn. And when I needed it like that, I knew where to go. Like I literally could, which is so empowering, because when you're sick, you're not powerful. You're feeling like, oh, victim, like victim-y. And I was kind of scared. I was like, I'm going to a Mexican border town I've never been to all by myself, and I feel like crap, So, but just knowing that there are resources out there for like almost everything. We don't, but keep looking under that rock, no matter what you're doing. If you're building your portfolio and you're having challenges, if you're health challenges, keep looking. But the fact that I knew what to do, and then I woke up at 3 a.m. and think, wait a minute, let me read that article. And like, oh my God, I know a chelation. I heard of that. Let me go back to my girlfriend and cross-reference. And, that's kind of awesome.
Not just awesome. Well, I think you like kind of touched on 2 points there, right? So like, you talked about your friend that you were able to immediately think of. I mean, that's a part of like networking and everything that we do. You talked about you had a problem, you felt almost like a victim, but you were able to quickly pivot that aspect of that problem solving. Everything that you do, that Chris mentioned, your beautiful portfolio from broker to flipper to landlady, so many aspects. I'm sure you problem solve about 100% of your
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that's our middle name, right? Problem solver.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we are in real estate. Whether you're a broker or you're a flipper, our job is to solve problems all day long. That's what we're getting hired for. But you don't. So let me ask you: you're a real estate broker, and do you just primarily sell your flips, or how does that work? Like, what's your main thing?
Right now, as we speak, I have a very specific goal, and I love helping people buy, sell properties and make intelligent decisions regarding real estate. That's like my passion. I'm kind of a golden retriever salesperson, right? I like just like You know, just that's my personality. You know, if you've ever read Sales Dogs by Robert Kiyosaki, like salespeople have all different personalities, and I'm a golden retriever. I just like to help people. So I have a heart of a servant. So that's in my blood, and that's, you know, I was a mortgage broker. I did over 500 mortgage loans at the time. I still have my license, but that's not my main focus. So I don't sell my own flips all the time. It depends on the location. So if there's another agent that is in that location who's really, really familiar with the area, I'll either co-list or give them the listing. So I just have a book of business of people who know, like, and trust me for the last 20 years. And, you know, here in California, 30 years altogether in real estate. And then, you know, I just keep in touch with them and see what their needs are. So so I'm a real estate broker in that way, in a traditional sense. And then I'm an investor as well and, you know, in various aspects. So this year, one of my goals is to purchase, I liquidated a bit of my residential portfolio in 2024, which I was happy about because I want to focus on commercial going into 2025. And so I either want to get a small bay industrial or a small retail center. So that's my objective, as well as a specific number of goals regarding my database and my clients. So. Yeah,
it's funny you say that, because that was actually one of my questions I was going to ask. Is Jen knows where I'm going, because I paid a tiny fortune for this. What happened was, let me give you a quick little story. My videographer, my buddy Josh, I sold him his house a while ago, and now it's paid off, and he has all this equity, and he's like, "What do I do with it?" And I knew in my heart buying residential real estate was what I knew, but probably wasn't the best answer. You should probably invest it in like a apartment complex or something like that, where you got multiple tenants under one roof. But I didn't know anything about it. So what I did was I just took the leap of faith. I invested in a commercial real estate coach. Very expensive. And actually, one of my binders is right there. You can't see. Oh, I got to sneeze. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Sneeze save. Anyways, so I because I didn't know anything about, like,
which one?
What, the coaching program?
No.
His name, it's Commercial Property Advisor, CPA. You heard of him?
No, I belong to J. Scott Shield Commercial Academy.
Yeah, so there's a few of them, right? So that's that's what I wanted to ask. So you obviously, well, it seems like you went out and got coaching to learn commercial. You didn't just, because what I hear so often because I run a team and I coach residential realtors, they'll go, "Oh, I have a guy who wants to buy a medical plaza or whatever," and I always say refer it out, but they always go and try to do it themselves, which I think is a big disservice to your clients. I always refer them out too. So you didn't go out and try to learn it just on your own, and on the backs of your clients, you sought out coaching and training. And yourself, right?
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of education, absolutely.
Amen.
When it comes to and especially with commercial, because you will lose your shorts. Bottom line, unless you have unlimited money, and then that's another conversation. So I had heard of Scott Shield back in 2010. And went to see him in Vegas, loved it, thought it was great. But I was overwhelmed with my book of business because it was in the middle of the crash. And I had tons of people who needed short selling. And that's what I was doing, short selling. And I was flipping at that time a lot. And I was really overwhelmed. So starting something brand new, commercial at the time didn't make sense. But my girlfriend joined him about 5 years ago. And she did extremely well. She had no experience in real estate, very, very little. She had just got her agent's license. She had sold 2 houses, and they had flipped a property, and they made like $5,000 on the flip after a lot of work.
Yeah. I'll talk about that too, but
And she was like, "Yay, we didn't write a check. We got a check. We didn't write a check, right?" So, but tenacity, and she kept at it. Joined this group and learned, and was asking me all sorts of questions. But at the bottom line is, she flipped a 52 unit apartment complex, and she made bank. Yeah. She made multiple 7 figures. Wow. And at that point, I was like, She was asking me for advice the whole time. Like, doggone
Here's
it.
your referral fee.
You know, what's wrong with me, right? So, I mean, I've done fine, but like that was like one fell swoop. So I was so proud of her and happy. And then, but she left me. She went to she left California and she went out to Alabama, bought 10 acres, bought a little ranch, and now she's doing organic vegetable gardening, looking for another deal out there. But it was the funniest thing. I thought, wow, there's something I need to know here. So,
Yeah,
and I had
100%.
recommended that she go to Scott Shield. I had said, oh yeah, I saw this guy 10 years ago. He was great. You should go. And she went and dove right in. And I was so proud of her. And she's, you know, it's phenomenal. And then what she ended up doing is taking that money, and a lot of it she reinvested with members of the group. So basically we have 40 people in the core group who take down $1 billion a quarter in commercial real estate.
Wow.
Right. So she started finding deals and like, oh, I'll participate with here and here and here. And now she's getting passive income, doing her organic vegetable gardening, looking for another deal at her convenience that, you know,
Yeah.
that fits her criteria.
I'm only about a month into this coaching, and it's opened up a whole new like perspective of what can be done, and just different avenues that how we can also help our clients. Prime example, I have a gentleman who wants to sell his house here in Coconut Creek, Florida, and it's a 1031 exchange, and he wants to buy another property with it. And now I can have some sort of intelligent conversation how to guide him in the commercial route. And I'm kicking myself, like, I should have learned this so long ago. I didn't. But that's why, but
Yeah.
you know, because you know, we're
No
getting
better
you know,
time
we're,
than
we're-
now, Chris. No better
Yeah,
time
the
than
thing,
now.
we're not getting any younger. I'm overwhelmed with everything that's going on, and that's why I personally, I'm like, I can't possibly stay accountable to myself, focus on this with everything going on. I am gonna invest a lot of money into someone. That way, if I want my money back, I have to do it and follow the thing. And I've been doing it, and it's just so far it's been amazing. But the opportunities that you learn in it in commercial real estate is fantastic. And what really surprised me, and I hate to say this, but I would ask questions that I learned in the training to commercial brokers, and they have no idea on their own properties. Like I would ask for a rent roll on one of the properties. What's that? And
What?
exactly. They're like, I'm like, dude, are you gonna make an offer? I'm like, I need a rent roll. What's a rent roll? And I'm like, what?
Oh no.
How can I determine financials without a rent roll? And anyways, that
yeah,
happened
I
a
was like,
number.
they're
Yeah.
a disservice to their client at that point.
But
That's
it wasn't uncommon, ladies. Like, it wasn't uncommon. I spoke to a few of them, and I'm like, what? You
Yeah.
guys are selling a $5-6 million apartment complex, and you don't even know what the cap rate is on it, or even how to calculate it. One of the cap rates I calculated was 11%, so I knew they were lying. And then I asked for like proof of what their financials were and expenses, and they're like,
Mhm.
oh no, this is just what we just put on there. You're like, what? Is this how the industry is? But
Mhm.
anyways, I thought
Is
that was
it-
fascinating.
Do you find that, Ginger, that do you have the same experience in California of the commercial agents not having all their P's and Q's ready?
I do find that they're slow to produce information, but they know what the
That's true.
information is.
Yeah, maybe it's just a Florida
They
thing.
know what it is. That's like shocking. Like, yeah.
So
So,
Florida
but they-
needs to up their game, is what.
Yeah.
My coach said it though. He warned me. His name's Peter Harris. He said that you don't be shocked if they don't know this information if you ask for it.
Right. That's crazy.
But anyways, but my point of all that was these you can do well in real estate and not know what you're doing apparently.
Right. Yeah. Just be a good schmoozer.
Yeah.
Be a good
Or lose
schmoozer.
your shirt in the process. Yeah.
Yeah, or that. Yeah. Well, as an investor, right? But as a salesperson, just
Mhm.
be a good schmoozer, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you
So, Ginger,
prefer?
oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead. I was gonna say, do you prefer now that you've dove into the commercial side? Do you prefer working on the commercial side or residential? I know you're a golden retriever, so
Yeah. That's the problem. I love everything, right? So what I have done is winnowed down things that aren't working as well, right? So I'm a super host with Airbnb, but I stopped buying Airbnbs because they're okay, but they're not the big money. I liquidated some of my portfolio that was like doing okay, but it wasn't making big money. So what 2024 was, I was actually just reflecting on that this morning, was, there were a lot of big things that happened in 2024, but one of them is just figuring out what I love the best, right? And I honestly love the best helping people buy, sell houses. However, I really love having, like you said, I'm not getting any younger, and my girlfriend flipped that big property, and then one fell swoop, she's retired basically. If she wants to be, she doesn't want to be, of course, but she could be. So I love helping people. So I'm a servant. I know that about myself. I'm getting better as an analyst, in a sense that you have to be an analyst to buy commercial property. You've got to know the numbers.
Yes.
But you can learn that. You can learn anything. You just have to be consistent. So I made myself a goal about 6 months ago to do 3 hours a day analyzing commercial property.
Yeah.
Right. So I, to answer your question, Jen, I really believe you should be living your life according to what your native genius is. Right.
Ooh, I
Because
love
then you
that.
have joy, right? You can have
Mhm.
joy in cultivating your native genius. And I'm a people person. That's my thing. Like, some people are natural builders. Some people are systems, people. They have a natural genius for systems. But find your natural genius, work that. But also my highest, what are my higher priorities? And, having a situation where I'm really comfortable with a retirement, even if I never retire, which I never will, God willing, right? Just having that extra cushion, especially with inflation, and I'm doing fine, but there's just something like, I'd like to take care of that. And so I think commercial is where it's at, and it also stretches you beyond what your comfort zone is. So
It sure does.
so I don't want to be living always in what I love, but I want to have enough of what I love so I can enjoy my life while I learn something that I don't necessarily love, but I can chew on it and get better at it.
Yeah.
Because I do, mastery, you can start off not loving something and you can get better at it. And then you can start feeling, oh, okay. And then you feel better about yourself. And then you can enjoy the process more the more you get good at something. And I think some people in the learning process, they're not good at something in the beginning and they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then they go do something that's pleasurable. And then they never grow.
Grow,
Right.
challenge. Yeah.
They
Through the
don't
challenges to grow.
Right. And they don't realize that mastery is fulfilling in itself.
Yes.
And you can enjoy the process of getting out of your own comfort zone. Once people understand that, lifelong learners understand that, right? That you can be uncomfortable. They said Leonardo da Vinci was constantly confused. And they said confusion is actually, this is a wonderful book by Tony Buzan called Mastering Your Mind. And he has a number, How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. And they said that the most geniuses are very often confused, but they're comfortable being confused because they're taking in a lot of data, they're processing it, but they're comfortable in that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us are really, because of whatever reason, our own natural inclination to be safe, social media making us think everything is easy. We're not comfortable being uncomfortable, and we don't realize on the other end of that confusion and that discomfort is power, right? And so there's your long answer to your short question.
No, and I loved it. I even wrote down, find and cultivate your natural genius. I am I instantly gravitated to those words.
That's a Jen quote.
That is a meme. That's me wrapped up into a sentence. Yeah, no, it's great. And absolutely. And in everything that we do, we're always constantly pushing, or we should be pushing through that discomfort to find our ultimate power, our ultimate best version of ourselves. But we will never get there until we actually physically find ourselves in an uncomfortable position and push through that, which a lot of people just quit in the discomfort, right? They never quite make it past that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I have two interesting thoughts on that. So Ray Dalio talks about that in Principles, where when you get to the top of what you feel is your mountain, your first goal, all of a sudden you see a new horizon and there's another mountain over there. Because I can tell you from my experience and from coaching and being a team leader for a while, when I talk to agents, they'll set a goal, and the ones that don't quit, that reach that goal, they're still not happy. right? I'm like, well, this is what you wanted, but yeah, but now I want that. And it's just human nature. We don't,
Yeah.
the people who strive forward are always looking for what else is out there. It's a perpetual state of never being satisfied, right?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah. Yeah.
but so I thought that was very interesting. Oh, and there was another point I wanted to make, but I'm getting old and my brain doesn't remember.
Have you had your coffee today, Chris?
No, and I definitely need it. No, definitely.
Well, there's
gosh,
where
what
you
was the
fell
other point?
short right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
Mhm.
no, the other one was actually, um, I've taught this concept a lot, and I can't visualize it, and it'd be hard for people on the podcast to analyze it. But what I also hear a lot in my world is people who get in real estate and they're really excited, right? They got that optimism. And then what happens is they're riding that optimism. Yeah, I'm gonna do great. Actually, just had a conversation with my buddy yesterday on it. I was gonna say his name, but I shouldn't. Anyways, he's super optimistic, and I already know where this is gonna go. It's gonna go one of two ways. What happens is the reality of that top of that loop comes in, and like what it's really like to do real estate,
Uh-huh.
and then you kind of get into like a little rut and go back a little bit mentally,
Mhm.
and then you have an option at that point. Many people take the off ramp and do the next shiny thing, right? But the people that kind of go through with it gets another round of optimism. They learn a challenge, they figured out this challenge. That was their first challenge. They're excited, they're optimistic again, and the reality of that new challenge hits, and then it cycles through. But all
Mhm.
too often, human beings, we have a tendency that if things are not as easy or enjoyable as we want it to be, we often get on that off ramp and look for the next shiny thing.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
what I admire about you, Ginger, from just this conversation, is that you don't seem to get off that off ramp. You're always looking for ways to get better in your field of expertise, which is investing in real estate, right?
Yeah, right, right. Well, you will notice that what's the common denominator? What Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues, right?
Yeah.
The common denominator with people who are very successful normally is that they're kind of self-development junkies.
Yes.
They're listening to the Tonys, the Jim Rohns, they're going to seminars, they're pumping themselves up, everything from Earl Nightingale, whatever. And they're just, how do I keep myself going when things are challenging? Most of them are. They really, and I am too, right? So you're at the gym and you're listening to something, a podcast on something to keep you going. You're learning how to be resilient. And that's a great thing, because it keeps you pushing forward, right? It keeps you moving forward. I was going to go to a Joe Dispenza event in LA this weekend, right? So I don't think that's going to be happening, but that's right. It's moving forward. Like you were saying, you joined the CPA, meeting. How can I move forward, right? So we need that. And then also what wisdom piece is, I've noticed over the years, I used to not take care of myself. Now self-care is kind of vogue, but it really wasn't vogue like several years ago. But
it was deemed selfish almost.
Yeah, right. But what I've learned is you really do need to take time and be really comfortable. That's the big learning I've had over the past several years, of really being at peace with taking that time out. So Christmas, for example, after all the chaos between the everything, my house remodel was done, and that I was cleared. I was not in Mexico anymore. I had this huge house party on Christmas Eve, and it was very successful. And on Christmas, I was completely exhausted. I did yoga all day while watching Christmas movies.
That sounds magical. Oh my God, invite me.
I can see Jen flying there just for that.
I might be stuck in a pose, but I'm game for it.
You're gonna pull a hamstring. Your downward dog.
But it was just like really gentle. And then I took a hot bath in the middle of the afternoon, took a 2-hour nap in the middle. It was just like, after everything, it was like,
Ginger,
and I was at complete peace with that. What's that?
You need to coach me, because that's my struggle. I feel tremendously guilty relaxing. Like when I go to a movie with the kids, like if I will go to a movie with the kids for the whole time, I just want to work on my phone, and I just feel guilty not, like I struggle,
Producing?
huh?
You feel guilty not producing like 24/7?
Yeah, I feel like for
Yeah.
example, we have a PlayStation at our house, and my kids will play it, and then when they go to bed, I'm like, oh, I'll play that for a little bit. And I'll play for like 5 minutes, and then I feel tremendously guilty, and I go right back to my office or pick up a new book. Here's my book I'm reading now, or I pick up a new book, or do something to enhance. I struggle with being okay with me.
I
You know
think
what I
that's
mean?
very normal with type 2. I don't know if you're type A personality or what, but I think it's very normal with people who are successful. You get into a mode. That's one. You're in a mode,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Jim Rohn talked about that. He said, when you're at the beach with the kids, be at the beach. When you're at the office, be at the office.
It's
People are
easier
at the
said than
office saying,
done.
people are at the office thinking I should be at the beach with the kids. People are at the beach with the kids saying
Yeah.
I should be in the office.
It's funny you say that 'cause I say
That's
that
why
too.
mindfulness has become vogue as well, right? It's what is mindfulness? All it is simply just being where you're at and like being present to what you're doing. But that I think I think that you're onto something just by acknowledging what you're doing, and then just ask yourself the question, what is important to me? What's really important to me? Where are my highest values? Right. And then just work with, something. There's a phrase called discipline your discipline.
Mm.
Maybe you need to discipline your discipline. You've got discipline, you've got the drive, you've got what it takes to be successful, but maybe you need to discipline your discipline
Yeah.
towards your highest values, which are your kids, right? Your kids are your highest values, the reason you're working so hard. So,
That's true.
but struggle with it. It's okay. It's okay. It's just acknowledging it is part of the reality, just do some
Yeah.
journaling on it. Do some, okay, where do I want to be?
I've been
We know.
acknowledging it for 13 years.
Well,
But
now you're ready for your action step, right? You've acknowledged for
Yeah.
13 years. You need an action step, Chris.
Discipline your
Yeah.
discipline. So just
No,
when
my
you're
wife-
over there with the kids, say, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put my phone in the car
Yeah.
while I'm at the movie with the kids. Force yourself, right? So change your environment, do whatever it takes, if
What I
that's your
stop-
real values.
Yeah, what I started doing was that I would have my phone off from like 5:30 to 8:30. But every now like I'll have the notifications on. But in real estate, in our industry, we get calls and texts all the time. From my buddy Dan, I'm about to list his house over here in Coral Springs, and I look at my phone. There's like 4 texts from him. He's like, "Dude, it's 7:30. Why is your notification like call me urgent? Blah 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 blah." And I call him, and he's just like, "I need to list my house." I'm actually gonna meet with him today in person. So sometimes you can check out, but as a real estate agent, and you don't want to miss opportunities, you kind of got to peek every now and then, or you
Mhm.
will we lose it. The good thing about the way Jen and I do business, and maybe you do Ginger too, is that we created a nice hot inbound business where our people call us, and they're pretty loyal to us, so we're cool with that. But a lot of real estate agents don't work that way, and they have to stay at their phone whenever a Zillow lead comes in and stuff. So it's a
Mhm.
challenge. Then so what you're thinking, as if you're a parent, Ginger and Jen would know this, is that if I miss this, I'm with my kids, but I need to pay for these kids, and if I miss this call, I might not have the money I need to pay for these kids. So if I want my kids to continue being happy, I need to it's like this balance you have in your head, right?
Mhm.
Am I alone in
Mhm.
that, Jen? Or
No, you're not. I have to feed the machine called Liam, who doesn't stop freaking eating.
And then
I
he's gonna
only
get a
have,
car and go to
yeah,
college.
yeah. I mean, I only have 2 kids. You got 5. Ginger, this man has 5 kids.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm on the same mindset, but I'm pretty good about, because of the inbound business that we do have, and the trust and no trust and like method. I can pick up the phone very quickly. Hey, I'm playing with the kids right now.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
give
the
you a
beauty of
call
it.
in an hour,
Mhm.
or a quick text. I'm in the middle of something with the family. I'll give you a call in 2 hours. So
If you say
because
family in a text, you say family, they're like, bing, okay, no problem.
yeah, this
And then they
is
feel
sacred
acknowledged.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Acknowledge. They understand, because family time is a sacred time. It should be a
Yeah.
sacred time, and
Most are
and
cool with it. That's true.
yeah, most are, and sometimes I feel like if that particular buyer or seller or agent doesn't understand, then maybe that's not the caliber of person we want to work with.
And
Mhm.
they're likely not going to use you anyways. So I've learned in my career,
Favorite or
and
foe?
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Favorite fool.
favorite or fool,
Or
or I
fool.
think it's what it's called, is exactly that. The people who I've noticed that demand that you pick up at this time, and they're really urgent and really pushy. They're looking for information quick, and they're probably why they're looking for information quick is because they already have someone else in mind, and they just want to do their due diligence quickly before they hire that other person.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
every time I rush into a scenario, that I want to say every time, but many times you rush for someone else and it doesn't hardly ever pan out. On the flip side, if you become if you are the favorite real estate agent of that person, they already did their research, they already want you. It's already your job, your deal. You just got to really not be a total tool so you to lose it, right?
Mhm.
Lack of better
Mhm.
word. So
Mhm.
so those people understand, like my buddy Dan. When I told him, I took a selfie of me in bed with my toddler and my 2-year-old. I'm like, hey man, this is what I'm doing right now. When they go to bed, I'll call you back. He's like, oh my bad, I'm so sorry. I'm just messing with you. Call me tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's the clientele you want to focus on. Because if not, then you're just a commodity, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just someone's. You know,
Yeah.
I can't think of an appropriate word to say. Fool. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're onto something, Chris, with that acknowledgement. Then, and the people that I work with, they're busy too. They respect their time too,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They
Yep.
respect their
And the-
time, so they don't mind that you have other priorities because they know they're going to be when you're with them, they're going to know you're 100% with them.
Yeah. And if they trust you and they know you're going to do a good job and you have a good product and you have some kind of relationship with them, they'll honor and respect that. I've noticed.
Hmm.
And the ones that don't are always, if even if they do hire you, those ones that don't, they're going to be a pain in the butt throughout the whole process anyways, and it's probably going to cost you more stress than the
Hmm.
income you're going to make. And
Hmm. It'll take
so
your
there's
energy
no real
away
estate
from two
emergencies.
good clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a real estate coach once tell me there are no real estate emergencies. Everything can wait, right?
That's
Which,
good
Every
advice.
which
That's good
isn't it?
advice.
Yeah, isn't it wild? Because I feel like everything that we do is always with a sense of urgency, quote
Yeah,
Yeah.
unquote.
hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Hurry up and
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
Ginger, we have about 18 minutes left, and we've been just chit-chatting about life, which I enjoy, by the way.
yes,
But
I
I'm
love
sure
that.
you're here for a particular reason, unless you just want to hang out with us. Is there
You're great. I love hanging out with you. It's good.
Yeah, I mean you seem like cool people.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Cool
you
and
do too.
knowledgeable.
So what do you have going on? What do you want to teach us, talk to us about, offer us? What's up?
Well, let me see. Why don't I give a plug in for my Scott Shield Commercial Academy?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so I have a really unique situation where my partner lives in Santa Barbara, and he needed to take a break for family situations. So I'm actually looking for a new partner in my Diamond Inner Circle. So I'm excited about that, but I have to find someone that I can jive with. So we're going to an Orlando event at the end of the month, and I want to encourage anybody who wants to retire early or just have enough of a cushion. Like one of the things I like to talk about, or I've noticed over the years that there are many women like 40 and over who they look at their life and they realize they have no retirement. Like the stats are like 55% of women over 40 have like no retirement. And so with commercial real estate, if you can learn it and if you can really harness the power of it, you can actually get retirement money like my friend did. And I have another friend who bought 8 shopping centers in 5 years. No easy feat. No easy feat.
No.
That's not, but they're all cash flowing positive. They're all doing great, but no easy feat.
Mhm.
However, you can get retirement money quickly. I think that I get discouraged when I see, the media saying, oh, just save more money and put more money in the market. And if a person hasn't saved enough money for retirement or a significant amount by a certain age, it's going to be very hard to catch up.
Yeah.
They're a little bit on
And
maple.
so I like to say, people, why don't we think differently? Completely get rid of the idea that you have to kind of, budget, because budget is not a wealth producing. It's not a wealth building strategy, budgeting. It's just a piece. Or you just want to know where things come in and out. Maybe you want to, save here and there. But really, wealth building strategies are are separate from budgeting. And real estate is a very powerful tool. And so I like to encourage people that if they're not at a place where they can comfortably retire, to think about maybe investing in commercial real estate or some type of real estate where it's significant enough. So my last flip, for example, I bought a house, had a small team, but I bought a house for $2 million, demolished it, basically rebuilt it for 1.25 million, and then cashed out for 4.8 million. Okay, so those numbers work. Those numbers work, right? So a long time ago when Donald Trump was popular, like 30 years ago, he always said, if you got to think big. And I never knew what that meant. But, now past several years, I'm like, oh, it's very simple. Think bigger. A lot of times people think very small because of their environment. Everybody around them thinks small. And so they think small too. Small and safe, right? You buy a little tiny house and it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong, right or wrong. It's just, we need to explore different avenues, right? So buying a small house, renovating it, nothing wrong with that because you're getting hands-on experience. And then do it again. But at some point, push to think bigger, right? Not in an unsafe way, because you can lose your shorts in real estate. I know you've probably seen people investing who've done it. And certainly here in Silicon Valley, a lot of people have lost their shorts, right? But the people who keep going and they keep pushing and they grow and they grow and they grow, thinking bigger. And then, so what areas can you compress time so that, think, can I actually get enough money to retire in 5 years if I want to? Right? How do I do that? How do I challenge myself to do that? So, it flies in the face of conventional wisdom, but I think conventional wisdom is and when I say conventional wisdom, I mean Suze Orman, which is, I don't think that teaches people to be wealthy. I don't think that's the way. So, I think it's really important for people to think creatively and think, how can I, do this? How can I accomplish this? And who do I know who's doing this that I can learn from? So I think that's something that is important to explore because the need is there. A lot of people are frustrated because of inflation and the housing market, and there's been so many changes quickly to our economy that it's important now to be more flexible, think on our feet, and think creatively. Because if you do that, you can find solutions. And again, goal setting, set your intentions. Say, I want to retire in 5 years. How am I going to do that? Who can I talk to? What resources are there that can help me to do that?
And once you start taking action and going down that rabbit hole, just more things just enter your world that just enlightens you. It's true. But with that too is, I noticed that people's superpower for the people who do accomplish things is that they just start. They take action.
Mm-hmm.
That's a superpower. You just doing it. I know oftentimes people what if things so much. What if this doesn't work?
Mm-hmm.
What
Right.
if I lose my money? What if this is a waste
Yeah.
of time? What if Susie thinks I'm stupid?
But what if it works?
What if it works? What if you can? And what if you don't do this? What are you going to do to retire? Because I think when people are comfortable and content to where they're at in life, they just go to the next day, right? And then all of a sudden, when an emergency happens or something big happens, then all of a sudden they start looking, but it's already a little too late.
Right.
So you got to stay curious and stay curious and take action is just key for anyone who wants to have a decent life. But as Ginger taught us, with balance, do yoga all day on Christmas and watch movies. that needs to be a ritual.
And Ginger, for anyone who wants to dive into the commercial space, and I know it's a loaded question, but I guess in the simplest way, what would you advise them to do first? Of course, education is key.
Yeah.
Whether an education piece or beyond that, any advice for anybody wanting to dive into the space where there's so much potential wealth building for a person to be able to retire within 5 years if they push hard and play it right?
Yeah, I would just recommend the J. Scott Shield for me personally, right? I'm just going to plug him because
Why
because
not?
he's been,
If you believe
yeah,
it,
he's been around 35, 40 years, and I think he's a model of a human being as well. You know, it's crazy. He built his wealth till he was 47 years old, and then married a woman 20 some years younger than him, and now
Ooh, I
has
like him.
6 children going on 7. Started his family at 47 years old, and he planned it that way. He's like, I never want to be struggling
Mm.
with children. So I'm going to work. And then he learned everything with regarding commercial, you know. And so I think he's a really neat guy, and he's genuine, and he's a real deal. So I would say just, you know, find out where he's doing an event. He's doing one in Orlando. He does one a quarter. So it's
Okay.
Orlando, then Raleigh Durham coming up, and then Vegas, then Cleveland. And so, you know, once a quarter we get together. We get together once a week on Zoom, and we deal swap and talk about ideas. And hey, is this a good deal? Are you going to lose your shorts on this deal? And some of the
Yeah.
senior members, they're like, oh, watch out about that, and watch yourself here. And it takes a tribe of mentors, I believe, to really go into this, because it's the real deal. These are where the big boys play, and there's a lot of sharks, and there are a lot of whales, and you know, it's like How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive by that old Harvey Mackay book, right? That's an area where there are a lot of sharks, and you want to make sure that you're working with people that you can trust. So that's
That
what I would
was
say if somebody
huge for
wants
me.
to.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done. My bad. But that was huge for me. Why I paid the money for coaching for what you just said, is that you would likely lose more money than you invested in a solid coach if you don't know what to look for. Like if you don't know these things and how to talk to these sharks and how to calculate this and that. I looked at it like, I need to fast forward my education as quickly as possible, because I'm almost in my mid 40s now, and time is ticking. And B, I don't want to lose that money. So I'm gonna invest it. So that's a very good point. So I'm glad that they offer and teach those services. How do you benefit from promoting them? Do you like? I'm just kind of curious. Like,
Oh, I really don't. But well, right now I'm looking for a partner. So if somebody wants to reach out to me, you can tell them more. I need a partner. So that's how I benefit right now. But so I'm avidly looking, because I lost my partner. And you like basically, you know, you get a deal if you get 2 people. So you split the cost. So I have a really rare opportunity for the right person, where right now the what I have 10-year-old prices. And so somebody can come in as a diamond with 10-year-old prices, which are like much higher now for that. So I have a really like a very unique, one of a kind opportunity, because normally people don't lose their partners. It's very unusual. And so because I lost my partners, and my partner was in diamond for 10 years, I have 10-year-old pricing.
Okay.
And I need a
The
partner.
diamond, and she's talking about her diamond inner circle, Chris. I feel like
Diamond
that's what
inner
I mean.
circle. 40 people, yeah.
So basically, and tell me if I'm totally off base here or if I'm right. So a bunch of people pay in as partners to, I guess, collaborate on funds and brainstorming, and then you go look for investment opportunities, and then you dive in together. Is that
Great question. Great question. You pay as like a partner of 2. So let's say, you know, Jen and I want to get together. We say, okay, let's split the cost of being members. But then maybe you have your own partner, Chris, right? And then maybe, you know, Chris, you say, you know what? I have a deal in Ginger's neighborhood. Hey, Ginger, I have this deal I'm looking at. I know somebody who knows somebody, whatever. And then you come to me, or because these people are all over the country. So you got people in New York, you got people in, you know, Raleigh, you got people in Florida. We got some really big time guys in Florida. And we only get together if it makes sense. Or maybe you have a great deal. I have some extra cash. It's making 0 in the bank, or, you know, 2%, whatever it is. And I say, you know what? You're a good operator, Chris. I'm going to give you $300,000, because you show me I have this apartment complex. Here are the numbers. Here's the thing. I know you're a seasoned operator. I invest with you. And then I get the returns, but I am passive completely, limited partner, right? So these 40 people basically do their own thing in partnerships of various kinds. But I'm looking for one person, one partner right now because I lost my partner because he's taking a hiatus to deal with some big family issues. And so I have this need for one partner to join the group of 40. Does that make sense?
Well, that's a great opportunity. I have a selfish question because I'm learning this commercial space myself. If I find a great opportunity, should I call you and be like, hey, this might be an investment? Even though I'm
Yeah,
not
because
in
we
that
have,
program, I'm in another one.
yeah, totally.
Cool.
Totally.
That made my whole day.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got like, almost unlimited funds with this group. I mean, these are some heavy hitters, $1 billion a quarter they take down in commercial real estate. So there's some heavy hitters.
I'm in the part of the coaching
Phenomenal.
now where he gave me 10 different properties to analyze and do see how I can raise the rents and lower expenses and the ROIs and the caps and seeing if what offer price is this and all this other stuff, like this whole thing. And
That's
then after I
awesome.
figure, yeah, it's great. And after I
Yeah.
get past that, he has me start soliciting owners, off market owners. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe he'll teach us later. I don't know what they say when they call. And B,
Mhm.
I don't even know where I'm getting money to buy these things. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll get there.
Don't worry. Yeah, you got to
I'm like,
deal.
"What?"
There's plenty of money out there. We'll find a
For
buyer.
the right deals. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah.
He said,
It
don't
sounds
worry
like
about
it's
it.
a
We
good
always find the money.
program. Yeah, because that's the right process. Know what you're doing first before you reach out to them, right?
Yeah.
So he's taking you the right step by step way. That's good.
Good. Okay. Well, maybe you and I can be partners in some commercial deals. That'll be the most exciting thing ever.
Yeah, that could be awesome. That could be awesome. Very cool.
Oh, I love it.
Very
And
cool.
I have one last question.
Oh, go ahead, Jen.
I have one last question. I know, and I keep going towards commercial because this is all new to me, and I'm excited to dive deeper into it. And in my mind, when I think of commercial real estate, I believe it to be a very male heavy industry. Is that
Yes.
still true? Do you find that still to be true?
97% of commercial real estate investors are men.
Wow.
Of the 3% that are women, 1.5% of those have inherited the money, the commercial. So there you go. Now, that being said, two things. Are you both in Florida?
Yes.
Yeah. So that being said, two things. In Florida, this month, January 29th, there's the J. Scott Shield is having their annual 3-day event. And if you go with me in Orlando, I can get you like 40% off of that. That's number one. Number two, there's a women's only retail program by a badass woman. In March, and
I
it's
love
all
badass women.
Yeah, she owns. She's her name is Beth Azor, and she's got a YouTube channel on commercial retail property. She's got a ton of commercial retail property, and it's a woman who's just done this by herself, and she's done a lot of it. And I know she's I haven't been yet because my friends went last year, and then I was just invited a couple days ago. But that's in March, and that's in Florida as well, and it's all for women. So that's coming up, and I'm probably going to be there as well. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with that, and then yeah. So you're absolutely right. Your instincts on that were right, and I think I've really reflected on that, and I think it's just the culturally. Like not even culturally, but in our DNA, men were the hunters, and these commercial deals, they're intense. They're intense, and the men are out there, and they have I think they have the genetics to go and hunt and take something big down, and it makes them feel important or whatever. And women have traditionally, I mean, we're not that far off from.
We're not. And
you're also a human.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're breaking through barriers left and right, and I just, when I think of commercial, I've always thought of it being a very male-heavy industry. So I'm excited to see that at least there's 3%. And now next year, let's push it to 5 and 10 and 20. Let's get more women out there.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, I'd love to teach you what I learned in my process as I go.
Yes.
So you can take advantage of that, and you should join Ginger over in Orlando. Learn some stuff.
I made a mental note. January 28th.
29th.
Or 29th.
But yeah, J. Scott Shield, Cheel. Yeah, so it's worth it. But reach out to me and I'll get you my discount. So so
Thanks,
yeah.
Jen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And since we're talking about the end of January, I'll give a little plug for myself, anyone listening. That is when we are launching our first of 2 launches for the Coaching by Koozies thing. So if you guys aren't familiar what it is, over the course of 5.5 months, we meet Tuesdays and Thursdays online, and we build your business, real estate business, from front to back, step by step, worksheets and task lists and journals and workbooks and all that stuff. So
Is it
that
investing or real estate as an agent?
This is mine's a real estate agent course, residential.
Agent, fantastic. Very nice. Very nice.
It's a self.
That's awesome.
Why not?
As you should.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. Good for you.
Well, good for you. So Ginger, we're gonna stay in touch. We're gonna be
Yes.
Facebook and Instagram buddies, and
Okay.
that's it. So where can people reach you if you want them to reach you? Like, what do you want to do? Like, find me on Instagram. Like, what do you want to do? Wrap this up?
Basically, I think the fastest way would be Facebook. I'm on Facebook at least a tiny bit every day. So reach out to me via Facebook. I'm on other platforms, but I don't always check them. I'm just, I post something and then I go back to work or whatever. So I think Facebook would probably be the best way. Of course, email. I'm on. It's not hard to find me online. My cell number's online.
Which I find
email
so
address.
interesting with like other agents. Some agents are actually really hard to find. Like in our
Yeah.
industry, we should be lists.
I love realtors without a realtor.com profile. Like, what? That's the most basic one ever. And there's so many.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm the only Ginger Crystal Faith out there. I think so. And I'm definitely the only Ginger Crystal Faith that's a real estate broker. So I'm not hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to be personal friends with you. Do you have 2 pages or just a business page?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, strangely enough, I have both. But in July, Facebook, for some reason, the algorithm stopped allowing me to post. It just disappeared.
Oh.
And here's what's even more strange. It didn't disappear. You can find Ginger Crystal Faith Real Estate Broker, but my last post was in July. And here's what's even more strange. The other day, I got a personal note from Facebook that I'm a top fan. I am personally a top fan of myself. Even though I am no longer able to at all, I can't find it anywhere. I can't post it. It just disappeared. But you can find it online. But I haven't posted since July. But so my personal one would be Ginger Crystal Faith. So I don't know.
So your personal one is good to go.
Is good to go. The other one's out there. You can see it. But it's like, oh, she hasn't been around in a while, but I'm a top fan. So it hasn't gone away. I am no longer, I'm somehow, not able to post on it. So it's very weird, but who knows?
No one goes to our business pages anyway, so I'd rather go on your personal. So I have requested a friend request, and I am really aware of subtle cues. So if you do not accept this friend request, I will understand. But now you're on blast.
Denied.
It's like when you're dating and a woman would give you a fake phone number just to get you to go away. And hotline. You win.
Control.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap this up because we all have things to do. Ginger, it was a pleasure. Please come back and share some more of your knowledge because you have a lot of it, obviously.
Yes.
Thank you very much. This was really fun. Great way to start the day over here.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to send you some clips too if you want to use them for your social media.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Love that. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
What do you got to say? Oh, thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Ginger, again, amazing having you. Can't wait to explore just the future, any endeavors that we can do together.
Fantastic. Great to meet both of you. And look forward to connecting again.
All right. You guys all have a good one.
Likewise.
Yeah, have a great new year. See you soon.
Ginger, don't shut off your window at the end. Chris, you
okay.
That message.
You can leave, but just leave your browser open.
Yes.
Okay.
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 Bye.
All right.